Well, Pacelli and Boomer, they're grizzled and gray, talking about Star Wars from back in the day. Got a talk show called Geeky Geezers, it's true, spinning old tales about the stuff they went through. From Atari to Shrek, they know every line. Geeky Geezers, man, they're feeling just fine. Late Savvy's got a lightsaber, swings it with pride. Boomer's got a game but plays it deep in the night. They're ranting about He-Man and old X-Men too. On Geeky Geezers, they're the nerdiest crew, talking Transformers toys that twist and they turn, singing blues for the geek life, their hearts still burn. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the seams. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're sitting in the studio, mics turned up loud, reminiscing about Super Friends, feeling so proud. Pacelli loves Spider-Man, Boomer's for Hulk. They argue about Star Trek with passionate both. From Betamax tapes to their old D20s, Geeky Geezers where the nostalgia flows. They got fans in the chat, from the young to the old, tuning in to hear stories that never get told. Talking Ghostbusters, Proton Packs, toys in the box, and Saturday mornings with cartoons that rocks. Pacelli and Boomer, they're keeping it real. Geeky Geezers with that old school feel. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're singing the blues for the games that they play, for the VHS tapes and the arcades that pray. But the spirits are young, though their hair's turning white. Geeky Geezers keep the nerd fire alight, so tune in each week to the Geeky Geezers show, where Pacelli and Boomer let the good times flow. From X-Files to X-Men, they're dropping the news, singing praises of geek life with them old blues. Pacelli and Boomer, forever they'll be. Geeky Geezers living wild and free.
Why are you wasting the court's time on Tinker Toys?
Your Honor, it's Legos, and honestly, we're not talking about toys, we're talking about justice here. We are talking about what is fair, and we're talking about potential theft here.
Why don't you get out of your mother's basement? You're too busy sucking on the teat of the American taxpayer. I wish I could hang you like my grandpappy would have.
Well, there you go.
I'm just trying.
Wow.
I don't understand this.
No, actually, you know what?
You know they're going to get a judge like that, right?
It really is. You're right. It is bizarre because of the Lego element, but it's very understandable from a legal perspective. I mean, it doesn't matter if the product seems silly. The idea of rights and theft and what is required to see justice done, I think everyone can appreciate this.
I don't know, man. I bet that Cloud City set went for a cool $5. Some teenager was up at the desk during that sale. Oh yeah, I sold it for $5. That was $5,000 or something.
Before we get too into that, though, I do want to point out that just be sensible when you enter into a business deal with somebody. Get something in writing. This whole idea of selling something on consignment, we've done that in the past with people that we knew and trusted. But you're taking your product, the fate of your product, and giving it to somebody else to decide what they do with it. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll get to that later on.
Thought you'd like the Tinker Toys reference. Remember those?
I do. In fact, it's funny because someone else brought something up about Lincoln Logs. And, we would love for them to bring back Lincoln Logs. And I'm like, oh, my God, I've told you I didn't really get into Legos, but I could have totally gone down that route with the Lincoln Logs. I got several sets of Lincoln
I used to
Logs.
play with those too. Yeah, I used to play with Lincoln Logs. They were easier than other toys. I remember that.
Here's the
I
other
built
thought.
cabins out of them. Yeah.
I am now at an age where I could very easily just buy dowel rods of the right circumference and make my own Lincoln Logs, you know? Before you get into saying hi to everybody, I want to hijack the chat to say thank you to Ruby Hoof for the gifted membership that she just gave to the Comic Relief Crusader. Welcome back to membership, Comic Relief Crusader. And also want to thank her for her generosity. Ruby, you truly are a gem. And that one went to, I can't imagine anyone more deserving of a gifted membership on Netters Network. Greg from Fanzine Vids received that membership. Congratulations, Greg.
It's good
you
people.
You are good people fighting the good fight for
physical
media, which we'll be talking about more. Well, I'm sure every you know, I just found out something as we were getting ready for the karaoke stream on Friday. You guys all know that I've been, because I say it over and over and over again. You guys got to be sick about hearing about it, but I talk about Fallout 4 a lot because I've been playing a lot of Fallout 4, and it's got a great soundtrack. They've got a lot of licenses for music, you know, from the 50s and 60s, well, even older, you know, you know, not a lot. There was a Frank Sinatra tune in there. There's no Dean Martin, but they've got songs that you would know by them that other people had done, and so on and so forth. A lot of Ella Fitzgerald, the Ink Spots, and stuff like that. Well, there was one song, as I was because I'm just trying to put together a track. You know, what do they call those playlists? Trying to put together a playlist of music from Fallout 4, easily done these days. And there was one song that came up when I asked Grok, you know, for that list. It was The Wanderer. But who sang The Wanderer? Do you remember?
Wasn't Dion.
Yeah, I don't remember, but
Alexa, who sang The Wanderer?
Dion originally sang The Wanderer in 1961.
So it was Dion. Okay, thank you. So, but that song is no longer, and I'd never heard it in game. And I listened to the radio within the game all the time. And I've never heard that song. I'm like, that one makes perfect sense. Because you're literally playing The Wanderer in the Wasteland. Turns out that as of the last update, they removed it from the game because they could not resecure the license from I don't know if it was Duke, his studio or whatever. And I'm like, there's another example. You don't own it, and because you're constantly getting updates from the game, it'll take out the music that was in there and every other thing.
It's so weird. It reminds me of when I think Nintendo, there was a falling out with one of their voice actors in one of the Fire Emblem games. They gave you an update where it went over and gave you a new voice actor for one of the characters. Now, theoretically, if you own the physical edition, I think you could still put it on there again without doing an update, and you'd have the original actor. But isn't that weird? They completely replaced an actor with just an update. That's what that reminds me of a little bit, actually.
Yeah. Can you imagine, though? Can you imagine if, like, you went to... There's a movie that I used to watch all the time when I worked in the video store, and it wasn't so much because I wanted to watch the movie. It's because I liked the song at the very end. The movie Goodfellas. The closing credits ends with Derek and the Dominoes, the back half of Layla, you know?
Right.
Where it slows down and it's a mostly piano piece. And I love that piece of music. Can you imagine pulling out a DVD, going to put it in, and it's been replaced by, you know, You Spin Me Right Round Like a Record or something. I don't know, whatever.
Luckily...
Or if you put in your record and it had a different tune on. You know, that's what I'm talking about with this.
The good news about Blu-rays is those do not, the disc itself will not get updated. The player will get updated. That's the weird thing. It will get updated. So theoretically, I don't know if they could block a disc. I don't know if they would.
No,
or if
no, they
would be
can't.
able to.
I'm just saying that. Can you imagine if that was the case? Because that's what it is when you don't own physical media.
Oh, yeah.
When you own it out there, you go to watch. You paid for the stream or the digital copy of something, and they re-edit it and take a song out of it or something.
Oh, it happens. It happened with the French Connection. And I am suspicious that it happened with the animated movie Batman Under the Red Hood, because I remembered a scene slightly differently on the DVD, and I own the regular DVD of that, and one of these days I want to find it and match it to the digital copy, because there's a scene where Robin's trying to get on his feet, and you almost see like a slight crack or like some missed thing in his leg, and I don't know if they cut that out or if I'm just imagining things wrong. It's like the scene from Iron Man 3 with the comment about the drugs, which I know I saw in theaters and it wasn't on the DVD. And I don't know if it's a Mandela effect thing or if something's wrong. I think they cut it out of the home release, but I could be wrong. Anyway, welcome to Geeky Geezers. I'm your host, Agent Boomer. 10 minutes in. Sorry. And this is my co-host, Lego Papa Pacelli.
Hello.
And this is Lego Netter of Netters Network. I love that icon, Netter. You too, Troy. You just look like your image too.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Yeah.
And there I am on the mower. But yeah, welcome to Geeky Geezers. We got a lot of interesting stories tonight, and there's going to be more next week with the way things are going, because the crap is kind of hitting the fan on a lot of stuff now.
There is so many things that I've been talking about, like on Liquid Lunch and whatnot, that I'm like, okay, I'm sick of talking about this. I don't want to talk about it. And then we'll get an update, and it's like, oh, for crying out loud. Whether it's the Colbert stuff or the Kimmel stuff or the Mandalorian stuff, it's oh my gosh.
But welcome. Let me go through the chat real quick. Connie Cleary, welcome. Good to see you. Deleted Scenes, welcome. You can catch me after the stream. I should have provided a link in my description, but I will be on his reserved seats tonight, okay? So be sure to check that out, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't have to provide a link because I'm actually co-streaming with him, so you'll see it on my page as well. So there you go. Just stay tuned. That I have to actually finish on time because I'm going to be on another stream. Netters Network, welcome. Let me see here. Big Al presents. Welcome. Good to see you. I wonder if have you done one of your reviews for Masters of the Universe. We'll see. Jesse Green, welcome. Enigma Severus, welcome. Zootopia, welcome. Good to see you. Let me see here if I missed anyone. Geek Flag with Nate Knows, welcome. We'll have a special story from our reporter at the field at the end of the show. And Zootopia, welcome again. Felt it was best to put it at the end as it covers what we've been covering. So at that point. And of course, thank you again for those lovely super chats, Ruby Hoove and Lynn Green, welcome. Let me see. Oh, Spider-Man 2, 1 and 2, pretty fun. Nick Cage is always entertaining. He is, isn't he? He's one of our last gems, isn't he, as an actor?
Yeah, I mean, I could almost count on one hand how many of these actors I would say are like, people that I really admire their talent and yeah, that's it.
I went to a Bricks and Minifigs store not far from where the guy was arrested. I assumed it was just a single local Lego reseller. I had no idea how huge it really was until the store. I had never heard of them before, and then I found out there's like 2 in my area. I'd never heard of these places before. I've never actually been in one because,
yeah,
you know me, I kind of dabbled in the Lego thing and realized, wow, this is a lot of work putting these little sets together. It's funny, though, I did put together 2 little Lego plants that I got for Christmas finally, so now they're on my windowsill as my fake plants. So they have smiley faces on the pots, too. Anyway.
Tree Rock Creation. That's nice. Does Fallout 4 have any 2 steps from hell music? No. Yeah, it's all, standards, rock and roll and stuff from like the 40s, 50s, early 60s.
You know, it'd be funny if you played that Cyberpunk game and you got to listen to music. It should all be that new wave stuff from the 80s, right?
I'm telling you, I am looking forward to eventually playing. I do have it. I haven't really played it.
Cyberpunk?
No. I was going to say Fallout New Vegas.
Oh yeah.
A lot of like Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Rat Pack type references in that one. So I'm really kind of looking forward to that.
You got that new Capcom one too, right? With the robot girl in it.
I do. I absolutely
Yeah.
do. Have not played it at all
It's
yet.
a brand new series too. It's number one in a new thing they just started.
Do you know what else I just downloaded?
What?
We had talked about it before. We'll probably talk more about it in a future live from Sparkwood and 21. I downloaded the demo for Silver Pines.
Oh right. Okay. Yeah. Let me know how that is. Maybe you could, if you have an update on the Sparkwood and 21. Maybe is it like that at all? Is it like a game version of?
It's clearly inspired by that. Clearly not using any of the same. It's not in the same universe because they don't use the same names or anything like that. But the tone and a lot of allusions are the same. Something else I downloaded because I purchased it. It was actually on sale on Steam. We had talked about this. You're the one that made me aware of it. The new version of Seventh Guest. And here's what got me. Not only was it on sale for half price, but it came with not only the full game, it came with the VR version of the game.
Whoa.
And it came with the 11th hour.
So you got them all now.
Right? I was like, oh my gosh.
That was the sequel.
I was pretty fired up about that. Because originally when I told Netter about it, she's like, how much is it? I'm like, well, it's half price. And I showed her, and she's like, that's not bad. She's like, okay, yeah, get it, and we can play it together. And I'm like, well, it's a one-player game. She goes, you know what I mean, play it together, like how we're playing Fallout 4. I'm like, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, the people that made those games, like I think it was called Until Dawn, like those style horror games where it's like a narrative horror game, they had a mode where they would have like pass the controller mode, where it's like you can play with multiple people, just, okay, pass the controller to the next person next to you, because they understand that people with those types of games, like the puzzle or event types games, they know they're playing them together with other people, so here's a pass the controller mode.
Is that, wait a minute, what is the one?
That's not on...
not Until Dawn. What is the game where there's four players that play together and you're playing against a fifth player who's the baddie?
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
stalking you?
Dead by Daylight? Is that
Dead by Daylight, yes. I would like to see more games like that because I'm sitting here playing, and Netter even asked, she's like, is there any way to play another person in Fallout? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, how cool would that be if your companion could be a player character?
That'd be neat.
Played by your wife or something like that.
Very cool.
Or your bestie.
Or your bestie,
well,
yes.
I seem to think those are one and the same, personally.
Speaking of not owning anything, I've been trying to get on my Xbox One for the past half hour. I've been inserting disc after disc, and it still says it's not in. Only the downloaded ones are working. Simon Proctor, I don't know if you had a storm in your area recently, and I'm not saying this is going to fix it, but what you might want to do with your Xbox is just unplug it for like a half hour, plug it back in. I don't know if that's going to work, but that used to happen with me with the Nintendo Wii, where it would go haywire after a storm. So I would just unplug it for a little while, and then I would plug it back in, and then it would be back to normal.
And and if that doesn't work, unplug it, take it to the window, throw it out the window.
Okay. But that's not going to help him. Then he's going to have to buy an Xbox Series X, which are not cheap.
No, what he should do is start gaming on PC. That's what he should start doing.
Well,
then you could actually get the PC fixed when there's a problem.
At some point, Xbox and PC are probably going to do the same thing. In fact, I'm waiting for them to just give it up and just say you can play your Xbox games on PC. Tree Rock Creations, welcome. If I missed anybody else, Gorilla Random Thoughts, welcome. Let me see. Anyone else on here? Sashi, our man from the future, welcome. And
I'm going to jump ahead if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Just because I saw this comment, I wanted to comment.
I'm about there anyway, so yeah.
Oh, okay. Fallout 76 is good. See, now that's interesting you say that because everything I've seen about 76, as far as gameplay and, the storyline stuff, I'm really interested in and would like to play. Lots of references to it in Fallout 4. Problem is, I've heard a lot of people, okay, I guess I should qualify this. A lot of people are saying that it's glitchy as hell and it's a problem, but that's true of all the Bethesda games. It's true on Fallout 4. So I can't imagine Fallout 76 being any worse.
I guess not. Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted there a sec. Okay. It's not good. Okay. Should we just get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because we have a important good old days tonight. One that, frankly,
is.
I think has been on the back burner for years, but unfortunately, we have sad occasion to mention it tonight. But we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But of course, we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes. I love this series. We literally have them all on DVD. We also have all of Angel on DVD. That was not as good a series, but I'm a completist. I had to get it.
Oh, you didn't like Angel?
It wasn't as good a series.
I'm going to get into a fight with you later about this, but we have to focus on Buffy.
It was. I like the series.
It was. Here's the deal. Buffy, I feel, was more of a horror series, where Angel was basically a superhero series. Angel acted more like a superhero. Sure, that's how I see it.
Well, no, wait a minute. Buffy's kind of a superhero too.
Yes, but Angel, I felt, was like, it's Angel. I love the ending of Angel because it was just all chaos at the end, and it doesn't resolve itself.
I saw Buffy more as she just seemed so comic booky.
Yes.
And Angel seemed more private detective-y.
Yes.
Yeah, I did like that element of it. I like the private detective element of it. But be that as it may be, I even went so far as how many seasons of Buffy were there? 6?
7.
There were 7.
7.
Well, I picked up the 8th season, which is a motion comic of the season 8 Buffy comic. So I had as complete a video collection as I could.
That's really cool. I didn't know they did a motion comic of Buffy season 8.
Yeah. It's pretty cool, and I that's another one though that I do feel like it didn't need to continue. They gave it a good ending, and you don't usually get that with these. Oh my gosh, that has to be first season.
I wanted to pick a picture from first season.
I mean, look at how young she was. She looked like a child.
Well, to be fair, they're supposed to be teenagers on the show, and it's always tricky. There we have the initial class. There's Cordelia. Right. And,
you needed the rich mean girl, right?
Who you end up being rather sympathetic with as time goes on, and actually she becomes a regular on Angel, which I thought was cool. Until
all of these characters start out as very two-dimensional, and but the writing on here, look. I don't care what you think about Joss Whedon. He knows how to write characters and make you care about characters and flesh them out with detail, that makes them real, Yeah. And that really is the case here. I mean, you can, like I just said, with Cordelia, she was the rich mean girl. Sure, that's how she starts out. But if you look at who she is later on, it's complicated. You almost realize that the rich mean girl is just pretending, covering her own insecurities, and actually ends up becoming something of a friend with this group of misfits,
Well, she's like the rich girl. Then I think her family falls on hard times financially toward the end of the series.
Exactly.
Right? Yes.
And so she's still trying to put on airs even though she's broke.
Yeah. Which happens, I mean,
yeah.
It's just why you can't forget, you could be high up on one day, but you never know what the next day's will be like. We have Anthony Stewart Head there as Giles.
Yes, he was. We got to back up a little bit first. Mm-hmm. So people don't realize this, but the Buffy series absolutely is a continuation from the original theatrical film with what's her name? Swanson? Swanson?
Yeah, Christy Swanson.
Christy Swanson as Buffy. And I can't remember what the name of her watcher was, but it was he was played by Donald Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland was her original Watcher, is that what they call them?
Yes.
Yes,
And
Snicker Watcher,
didn't he get killed in the
did.
course of that?
He did. He got
So
killed.
that's why. And then, of course, the pilot episode of Buffy, she's moving to Sunnydale. Sunnydale. And she's getting a new Watcher in Giles. So you come to realize that there's a whole organization of these Watchers, and there's always one that's ready to step in if something happens to the previous one. Not to mention there's always one ready to take over for the next chosen one or whatever the case is.
And of course, we learned that Sunnydale has a dark underbelly in the fact that it's built over a quote-unquote hell mouth. Right?
Yes, which of course explains, which is very similar to what the storyline in Ghostbusters, right? Where you realize that there's been a building built up to collect psychotronic energy, and that's why there's this ghostly thing happening throughout the city and so forth. I mean, if you were to tell me that was actually real and that the most evil undead creatures are really behind what's going on in New York, I'd believe you. It would make perfect sense. It would be a better explanation than what I actually see going on in New York. So
Yes. And there is Giles. You get a better picture of him there. Anthony Stewart Head. We know from the Taster Choice commercials we talked about a while ago.
Yes.
And of course there is Angel. He wasn't in the main pick in the beginning, so I had to put him in there.
What's the kid's name? Something Boreanaz?
David.
Jason Boreanaz? No, that's Jason
David.
Boreanaz.
David
David
Boreanaz.
Boreanaz.
Okay.
He still is a
I'll tell you,
actor.
he has gone on to play, cops.
Bones. He was on Bones.
And he was on Bones, yeah. Military personalities.
Yep.
I mean, he's got a type, So yeah, he's on it. It's true.
But here we go. So we have our big bad of the first season is, of course, the Master, who's this very ancient vampire that lives underground Sunnydale. The big overarching villain of this first season. That's his name, right? The Master?
Yes.
Yes, okay, yes.
What he's referred to,
It's been a while, but I do remember these series pretty well. And he's, of course, the big bad. Of course, the season ends with her being triumphant, I believe, against the Master, correct?
Yes.
As I recall. His big thing was he was trying to bring about the anointed one, right? Who I guess was going to be the vampire messiah or something, right?
Yes, exactly.
Turns out it was a little boy, right, as I recall. And, of course, that kind of falls away in Season 2 because we're introduced to Spike and Drusilla, who basically just, they get bored of the anointed one and they just fry him, basically, right?
I love that. I do love that, yeah. They were the evil power couple. They really were.
Of course, Spike has very much giving off Billy Idol vibes.
Which is interesting because they address that within the span of the story when someone says something like, Billy Idol called, he wants his hair back. And it's like, yeah, Billy Idol got it from me.
Exactly. And there's Angel, the three of them right there. Classic... Classic trio there. This is later on in Season 3. We get Faith, I believe, who is another vampire slayer. You realize, I think at the beginning of Season 1, doesn't Buffy die and come back or something, right?
So she actually, in the course of this series, and she even sings about it, she actually died twice.
Yes.
And Faith is an example of the first time she died. And she died, she's telling the story about when she was really young, and she had, I don't know, pneumonia or something like that, and she died in the hospital, and she was, they revived her, but technically she died for however many minutes. During that time, Faith became a
well, we had another Slayer. We had another Slayer before Faith. I forgot what her name was, but she was from Africa. Remember? She
Oh, was that one
Africa,
before
yeah.
Faith?
Yeah, it was before
Okay, so
Faith. Yeah, she was, I believe, season 2, if I'm not mistaken.
I
don't know,
apologize.
yeah.
I had it backwards. Yes, she
Yeah,
was the one that
and
came
then when
about.
she gets killed, that's when Faith comes about. Because whenever a Slayer dies, another one shows up to pick its place. But something got screwed up when Buffy almost basically, the machine was ready to get it, triggered another Slayer. So you realize that
Yes.
there are other young women out there in the world that could be potential Slayers, right?
Yes.
One has to die for them to get chosen. I guess sort of like the Green Lantern, right? This is sort of like that.
Was her name Bianca? Okay, I
Might have
didn't
been Bianca.
remember.
Yeah, she was in season 2, I believe. I think Spike kills her, if I'm recalling right. Spike's been known to kill Slayers. Remember, he killed the
Yes.
one in China, and she's saying all this stuff to him, and like, please tell my mother, I love her. And he's like, I'm sorry, I don't speak Chinese. And then he kills her. Remember that? It's like kind of ruthless.
Nate says Buffy died for like 3 minutes when the Master bit her, and we got Kendra. Then Kendra dies,
Okay.
and we get Faith.
I see. Okay, so it's Kendra. This is Buffy's mom. I forgot to mention her, Joyce, I believe, right?
Joyce, yes.
I'm remembering all the characters' names. I must have known the show pretty well. And then, of course, we have her younger sister, who
Well, that's another interesting run. You got,
shows up in
Michelle,
season 5, right?
Michelle
Yeah.
Tackenberg, who unfortunately we also talked about on a previous.
We've lost a lot of actors. Nicholas Brennan, we lost him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we did. This was an interesting take on the whole idea of it. They were very on the nose, purposely and self-awaredly hitting a trope. The whole idea from sitcoms and TV shows of bringing in a little brother, little sister, to kind of revive the show and whatnot. And they specifically do that by introducing a younger sister
Dawn.
who never existed. Dawn, yeah.
Go ahead.
And they do it in this brilliant way where she's just like at the end of an episode, she's in Buffy's room going through her stuff, and Buffy's like, "What are you doing?" And she looks up, and you honestly think this is someone who's broken into her house, and she yells, "Mom! Faith's in my room again," or something.
Dawn's in my world.
Or
Yeah, Dawn's in my room.
Dawn's in my room again. And it's like they leave it on that cliffhanger. It's like, what? And they literally play the whole next episode like she's been there the whole time.
Yep.
And you're like, and then you come to realize there's an in-universe reason she exists and did not exist prior to that. And it's like, brilliant. That is just a brilliant way to introduce a retcon type of character. It's just great.
She's like one piece to time.
Yeah.
Well, she is. She's literally a key, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
This
been
reminds
placed on Earth to protect her. Yeah.
This I also think Joss Whedon, probably, or one of the writers on the show, was familiar with Sailor Moon, because I believe it's in season 2 or season 3. Serena's cousin, who she never met before, is staying with her family. I'm like, this is not her cousin. This is actually what many people believe her daughter from the far future, coming back as a child to help out her mom in the past.
Wow.
Do you understand? But she did some kind of thing on the family where the parents just accept her. That's your cousin. It's like, I've never met her before. Yes, you did. And they're arguing with her, and it's like, yeah. But I don't know if they lifted it from that, or if, as you're saying, it was probably right. Chibiyu says, they say in the Japanese version. But
yeah, Lynn Green is on it. She knows exactly what you're talking about.
Different, various monsters. Too many to cover. Probably have not done justice. I believe these were the Silent Men, or the ones
Silence.
during the...
No. The Silence were from Doctor Who, but
That's
this
right.
came first.
Who were
I
they,
don't
who were they
remember
called?
what they were.
They were in the episode where this was the musical episode, of course, once more with Feeling, where they would come at...
No, this is unrelated to that.
Yeah. That was Dancing
This
Demon.
predates the musical episode. This was
Really?
meant to be an all silent episode.
Oh, that's right.
So there
I'm
are no
confusing it with
spoken
that one.
lines.
Okay.
I mean, there might have been some spoken lines at the beginning or end. The Gentleman. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Geek Plague with Nate Knows.
All right, I have to rewatch the show someday. I did watch it in its entirely while it was on, though. I did do that.
Yeah.
I think there's always the one episode you miss. I think I missed an episode during season 1 where Willow
Yeah.
summons a demon by accident with her computer. But John Ritter, famously in one episode of Buffy,
Yeah,
playing.
this is. I did not know where this story was
Oh,
going.
loved
and,
it.
And it gets really creepy in a lot of places, and you're like, oh God, I don't like John Ritter playing this role. But it's got a twist that's really surprising.
It's almost like the movie The Stepfather, right? Where it's like, this is not, it starts out, you don't think he's like a monster. He's just a bad man.
Yeah,
who
you
puts
just
on a
think he's
really
an
good
evil
face
person,
in front of everyone but Buffy when he gets her alone. He's
Exactly.
reading your diary. I'm not some goblin in your storybook. I'm real. Remember he says that?
Yeah. And he does come off as like the evil stepfather type of thing. Creepy evil stepfather.
Yeah. Really good performance by John Ritter. Rest in peace. Everyone passed on from this show, I'm telling you. Let me see. Of course, there's the mayor, who was our primary, who turns out is our primary villain in season 3.
Oh, spoiler.
I'm sorry. Is that a spoiler? There are going to be
It is.
spoilers here. One of my favorite things at the beginning of season 3, because Buffy got upset at the end of season 2. I won't spoil that, but she's upset. She had to do something she didn't want to do for the greater good. And she basically ran away. And she was on the road all summer. And she ends up in this place in another town where these demons are kidnapping kids off the street, like other runaways, and basically treating them like... a word I probably can't use on YouTube, indentured servants having to work in these mines. Yeah. And like there's this wonderful scene where one of the demons goes up to one of the kids and says, "What's your name?" "My name's Brian." And he punches him and says, "What's your name?" I'm no one." "That's right." And he goes up to the next girl. "What's your name?" "I'm no one." "That's right." And then he goes up next, and then he finally gets up to Buffy, and he goes, "What's your name?" And she goes, "I'm Buffy the Vampire Slayer. What's your name?" And then she starts wailing on him. And it's just funny. I love the... Yeah. That was a great episode, because these really horrible-looking demons. Like, this show would have, like, the most horrible-looking monsters. Not just vampires, all sorts of things on this show. It was just... The vampires were pretty awful on this show, too, though. I mean... The thing about Buffy is that you had the vampires, in my opinion, that were like orcs, where it's just like a couple hits and they're down. But then I think if a vampire is older, they get more powerful.
Yeah.
So like over 100 years or going back further, they're more formidable, you know.
Well, and there was an element to this, you know, and let's face it, I can't help but draw on, you know, like I could totally see translating Buffy into the world of Darkness from White Wolf Games, you know, the Vampire, the Masquerade, and so forth. It would totally fit those rules so perfectly, and you get this whole stratum, as you do for tabletop games, of different levels of power, right? Which a game master is going to use to keep balance in the game, but you know, you also can play with in story terms, where you get to know how powerful different creatures are, and then you go up against someone that you think's a pushover because they normally should be, and then you realize, oh, there's something different here, you know? Yeah. That's right, and Principal Quark, Armin Shimmerman played
the principal of Sunnydale High.
Principal Quark, yeah, exactly.
Which I thought was pretty cool, actually. And did he finally realize all the weird stuff was going on? I think toward the end.
Well, because there's the season finale where I think it was graduation or something. It had something to do with this mayor guy too, didn't it? And like the mayor turns into I don't know, Q the demon or whatever, and everyone pretty much realizes that something's going on. Yeah, exactly.
This was Glory, I believe her name was, right? Season 5.
She was probably one of the prettiest demons on this show.
She was actually in the movie Bring It On. She was one of the cheerleaders. I kept noticing. I kept keeping an eye out. Like several Buffy actors end up in the movie Bring It On. It's weird. Like really? Eliza Douche.
Oh yeah, she did. That's right.
Faith was in it.
Yeah.
She was the season 5 villain. Ooh, there's a. Giles makes an interesting decision at the end of season 5. I'm not going to get into it, but kind of ruthless. Out of order, this is our season 4 villain, I believe. This is Adam, who I believe is a take on Frankenstein, right?
Kind of, but they take it in the somewhat of a, well, you almost
Like
have to with Frankenstein, a very sci-fi-ish kind of element. And if you think about it in terms of modern day, if you're going to have a modern day Frankenstein, he's going to draw on whatever technology is available to him. And so this particular Frankenstein's monster is different elements of human, demon, and robot.
Yeah. There is a wonderful scene where he goes over and talks to the vampires, right? And he says, vampires, you fear the cross, you fear fire, you fear sunlight. And then one of them tries attacking him, and then he grabs him by the throat and rips his head off and says, and then he disintegrates. And I believe this decapitation is also an issue for you. Remember that?
Yes, exactly.
Because he was kind of fascinated by vampires. I think he starts working with the vampires because he doesn't like the humans, right? As I recall.
Right.
But yeah. Spoiler alert, I don't care. Sometimes the villain is your best friend. Oh, wow. Season 6 was a particularly dark season. Okay.
When you end up with when your best friend turns out to be the big bad of the season, that's some pretty intense stuff. And this story arc is very, very intense.
It's well thought out. Everyone I feel in this season is in a bad place.
Yes.
And I think Whedon was channeling how, sometimes in your early life you have a bad year where things just go wrong. And like, I'm not going to get into spoilers, but Buffy, I know something bad happened the prior year. I think she flunks out of school during this season. She can't get back into college. She has a dead-end job, I think, and it's like she's the superhero, the hero of the town, but nobody recognizes it. And Giles, I think, has to leave her too for a bit. So she's on her own.
She has to get a job because something happened to her mom.
Right,
and it's the only way she could pay the bills.
She like instantly becomes the equivalent of a single mom because she's got to take care of her sister. The other thing I want to say about Joss Whedon, again, the guy's not perfect, but there are some things that he did so well that others that have tried to do it have not been able to do it. That whole storyline of Buffy having to get a job doing fast food, they tried doing that in DC Comics with Wonder Woman, and that's
funny.
It was the same basic concept but poorly executed. It worked way, way better with Buffy. This whole story with Willow becoming, Dark Willow, basically the Darth Vader story, but honestly, done better.
Yep. Justice for Tara. Tara got vengeance. That was the problem.
Yeah.
That was Willow's a girlfriend on this, and it went.
If you have access to essentially unlimited power, and somebody takes from you the person that means most to you in your life, what do you do with that power? And Willow sure does do it. I'm amazed at what they got away with on syndicated, primetime television.
Well, she got angry because I'm sorry, Netter, go ahead.
Like the guy who built the Buffy robot.
Yeah.
It was the nerds. The nerd group where they were being set up as the villains that season. They were dabbling with dark stuff, right?
And they screwed up, and it ends up getting Tara killed.
Yep.
And Willow, who is already on a razor's edge, just snaps.
Yeah. It's like a Batman villain,
And those guys, they get what's coming to them. Let's put it that way,
Yeah. And then of course we have the final season. I won't get into it, but she dabbles with the big bad, the what they call in the show the first evil. The one who started the Hellmouth. That's from I believe season 4. But I like the fact that we have the werewolf. What's his name?
I'm forgetting both the character's
Both
name
the actor and the name,
actor's
and I always know Seth
know.
something, right? I think.
Alexa, on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, what was the name of the werewolf?
The werewolf on Buffy the Vampire Slayer was Daniel Oz Osborne, played by
Oz.
Seth Green.
Oz.
He was a
Right.
member
Green,
of the
yes.
Scooby Gang and had a unique relationship with Willow Rosenberg.
Be fair, Lynn Green got it before Alexa did.
Yes. There we have Willow there to the right. There were some great episodes on Buffy. Remember the
That was
episode
Seth
of Buffy?
Green.
Seth Green. Remember when Cordelia wished that Buffy had never come to Sunnydale?
Yeah.
And because Buffy never came to, it was like It's a Wonderful Life in a way, and then she ends up in
Yeah.
Sunnydale, and then basically the Master rose to the surface, and everything went
Yeah.
horribly wrong, right? And there were vampire versions of Willow and Xander. Remember that?
Yes. Yes.
And,
What's very interesting is when you get that interaction between the Willow of that universe and the Prime Willow.
Yes.
This is way before they did the storyline where Willow comes out as gay, and it's the first indication she gets she might be gay. She's like, I don't like this other me, and I think I might be gay.
She was probably really well. They didn't say she was bi on the show, but I was assuming she was just because she liked Oz in the beginning. So
Yeah, and there was even before that. It was implied that she and Xander, kind of had some.
Yeah,
she
I
was
think
in love
she
with
went
Xander.
to girls because all the guys in her life were disappointing her.
Well, that might be that element of it, right?
In Oz's defense, he went off because he wanted to cure his werewolfism. He was trying to figure out how to cure his werewolfism.
Let's be honest. That's the kind of disease, that you do have to isolate yourself because you don't want to kill the people you love most, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, I remember Seth Green as Scott Evil. We'll have to do Austin Powers another day.
Yeah.
Just typical Gen X. He's in the second episode of the X-Files, Seth Green, as some burnout, grunge type kid. And he's really good in it. And it's like, that's Seth Green. I know that's Seth Green. But here we go, though. But Buffy, we're not doing it justice. So many villains, so many monsters. We had a musical episode. We had the episode where nobody
I actually
talks.
sang a song from that musical last Friday.
Yeah, the episode where nobody talks, too. They did an X-Files episode like that, too. In fact, in the final season of the X-Files, they did an episode, and I'm not joking. If the X-Files had a version of Buffy, what would a Buffy the Vampire Slayer character be like in the X-Files universe?
Wow.
And it was the most bizarre episode because I think the vampires in it were very bizarre because it was almost like they figured out a way to immortality, and she was trying to rescue her sister and she was acting like a Joan of Arc type. It was a very bizarre episode. Like if the X-Files did Buffy, this is what it would be like. This very strange episode.
Well, they did a story like that in Buffy itself where it's and I don't think there's any indication what the reality is where it plays with the idea that Buffy is actually a mental patient, and all this that we've seen has been her delusion, and in reality both her parents are still alive, very worried about her and trying to get her to come out of her delusion. That's
right, because of course you're going to want to stay in that delusion, aren't you?
Well, it's which both had their benefits, right? Walking away from all this responsibility of being the Slayer, right, and losing people that are so close to you, and staying in a real world where I don't have to deal with any of that, and both my parents are still alive and care about me,
They probably got the idea for this from an episode of Batman the Animated Series where Bruce Wayne wakes up and his parents are still alive. He's engaged to Selena Kyle. Mm-hmm. Everything is right in his life, and when there's about to be a robbery, he's almost ready to spring into action, but then an actual Batman shows up to stop the crime. And I realized something, and you learned later in the episode that this is a constructed fantasy by the Mad Hatter. But he put a thing on his head, like a machine on his head, to give him his perfect dream reality, to keep him out of his,
What's interesting is that
there had to be a Batman. That's what was. Go ahead. Sorry.
Right. Mm-hmm. There was, even before that, Alan Moore did a story in Superman in the comics
yes.
called, and you've seen an animated version of
Yes,
this.
they did it on Justice League. Yeah, whatever
It
happens.
was, it was. What do you get for the man who has everything?
That's right. That was the name of the comic.
It was, the gift was this alien symbiote, I guess, and the problem is that it fuses itself to you, and it gives you and it literally feeds off you, and you're in a coma, but in that coma you live in a dream world that's just perfect for you, and you see that it happens to Bruce, and he ends up imagining that his parents never died. I think he grew up to be a doctor or something like that. And Robin uses like these giant gauntlets to pull it off of him, but it ends up on Superman. Superman ends up with a life on Krypton.
Yes.
Where his parents don't die. And he gets married and has a child, and literally has to tell the child, I realize this isn't real, and I have to leave this because I've got to go back to the real world. And it's crushing. And it's literally showing that Superman is a hero because he is able, even without any kind of superpowers, just force of will, to do the right thing, even though it means giving up everything that ever meant anything to him, So, yeah.
It's just sad. You know how Batman got out of that in the Mad Hatter episode, don't you? He's basically on a tower, and the Mad Hatter's there explaining what he's doing. Of course, it's not really the Mad Hatter; it's whatever Mad Hatter is in the machine that he put on, because he doesn't he doesn't know Batman's identity. And Batman basically says there's only one way out of this, and he basically jumps off the tower, and he says, wait a minute, you could die. He's like, well, then I'll see you in my nightmares. And I know the line they wanted to use was, I'll see you in hell then. Because basically that's how he gets out of it, by falling to his death. But that was I know Geek Flag, but they also did it was the episode of Batman the Animated Series, Perchance to Dream, and they also did it again on Justice League Limited with Mongol had the machine that was on. It was some kind of plant. They might have changed it from the Alan Moore comic, but...
No, that's right. It was
a plan.
Although it was a gift being given by his friends, it turned out to be Mongol behind it, and at the end of it, Mongol ends up with the thing on his chest.
That's right, and they did the same thing on the cartoon. Okay.
I heard about the cartoon. I heard it was pretty faithful to that story. Bringing it back to Buffy, though, Buffy has her own attempt at self-sacrifice.
Yep.
About midway through the series.
Oh, I remember.
She literally gives her life to save the world, and more specifically, her sister.
Yep. Death is your gift.
Exactly.
As the First Slayer told her when they brought her up, yeah.
And it's very much like the way Spock sacrifices himself, because they both think, how clever am I? I found a solution where the only one that gets hurt is me. Spock saying, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. What do you think of my solution to the no-win scenario? Of course, that Kirk is thinking, you didn't solve the no-win scenario. This is not a victory, And Buffy is basically doing the same thing. My gift is death, my own death, so that no one else has to die. See?
Well, this was a problem in Season 6. At the beginning of Season 6, this is the part of Billow's Dark Path. She uses her magic to bring Buffy back, because Buffy was killed by magical means. So if you're killed by magical means, there's a way to bring you back, right?
Right. And the point...
actually, there was an episode where Dawn, after their mom died, did a ceremony thing to bring the mom back. And as the mom got to the door and was knocking on the door, she broke the talisman to make her go back to the grave.
Because it was basically a retelling of the monkey's paw.
And the mom died of natural causes. With natural causes, you can't, which is what happens to Tara. That's why it won't work with Tara, her trying to bring her back to life. And that's what makes her that's another thing that makes Willow snap. And but Buffy made a point that one of the reasons she's all in a bad mood during Season 6 was... You pulled me out. I was in heaven.
Yeah, they thought she was in some sort of a hell dimension because from their perspective, that's what they assumed. That wasn't the case. And when she comes back to the real world, compared to where she was,
it is hell.
Being in the real world is hell. Yeah. And she's living through that every day, which is, I thought, the most brilliant use of the musical because it was a great way to advance the story in a silly, corny way until a certain point where you go, oh, crap. You know?
Yeah.
That's I do think that the writing in Buffy was just brilliant, and we don't get enough of that. For crying out loud, if you're too good, we've got to find a way to shut you down. Hashtag me too. Blah, 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 blah. You know?
Well, it reminds me, too, of on Angel, when Wolfram and Hart, like Angel wanted to be brought down to their main headquarters, and he figured he's going to hell or some other thing, and he says, no, this is our main base of operations, and it's here on Earth, and that's where the door opens up, and basically, this is where all the bad stuff is happening. Films and Friends, Austin Powers, good, you'll get to see Seth Green again. Anyway, maybe someday we'll have to do a Friday night last call about Buffy. That might be in the future. We'll see.
We could. Let's do it when we get closer to the Halloween time.
Of course.
It just seems like such a spot-on kind of thing.
We got a lot to talk about tonight. We have...
Yeah.
Let's get... Unfortunately, not something to laugh about.
Speaking of natural causes, death, yeah.
Oh, no.
Anthony Stewart Head,
Head.
Or I think a lot of people were just calling him Anthony Head.
Giles.
Or Giles, sure.
Hold on, let me bring my notes up. British actor Anthony Head.
72, too young.
Best known for his roles in TV shows including Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Ted Lasso, Merlin, and Little Britain, has died at age 72. Head found international fame as Rupert Giles in his hit supernatural teen show Buffy in the late 1990s. He passed away peacefully of complications due to pneumonia, surrounded by his family, his daughters, Emily and Daisy said. Sarah Michelle Gellar played the eponymous Buffy, led tributes at writing, thank you to Daisy and Emily, who not only shared their dad with me, but with the world. From his daughter's statement said, it's with heavy hearts that we announce the death of our extraordinary father. It has been and forever will be an honor and a privilege to be his daughters and to have witnessed firsthand the impact he and his work have had on so many. They also knew how dearly he will be missed by friends, colleagues, and fans of the show he was in, adding that he loved his job very much and always considered himself incredibly lucky. His family acknowledged that his legacy will live on, and said they consider themselves lucky to have watched him doing what he loved throughout his career. Gellar posted a selection of pictures of her with Head on Instagram, including a scene from Buffy where her character asks Giles whether life gets any easier. Tell Giles I figured it out and I'm okay. Well, I don't have it figured out and I'm not okay, but I know I'm the lucky one because I knew you, she wrote. Thank you to Daisy and Emily, who not only... Okay, you shared her dad. David Boreanaz, who also starred alongside Buffy, said, rest in peace. He was so kind and generous, generous of a soul. James Marsters said he was an unflaggingly kind and steady presence on the set of Buffy and the best actor in the cast. I was lucky to have known and learned from him. So, following Buffy, Berlin went on to have a recurring role in the sketch show Little Britain as the Prime Minister and King Uther Pendragon on BBC's Merlin. I didn't know that. I should probably check that out. He also appeared in Doctor Who, Persuasion, Inbetweeners, and Man-Child. He also starred on Ted Lasso. And of course, we all know him from those Taster Choice ads, too.
Yep.
That were
we did Good Old Days about.
But I think he will be most famous for Giles, and rest in peace. Oh, no. We're losing the greats.
I know.
I say that every week.
I know.
We're losing people way too early, too. This is our next one.
This is another bit, we were just saying how we've lost so many people from the Buffyverse. We've also lost a lot from the Twin Peaks verse, too.
Yeah, Owain Rhys Davies. Is he listening? Is he?
I have no idea.
John Rhys Davies?
I have no idea.
Owain Rhys Davies, best known for his role in Twin Peaks: The Return, has died. He was 44. Davies' brothers confirmed his death on Instagram over the weekend. It is profound sadness that my father and I shared news with my brother Owen has passed away, Rodri Davies said on Instagram. This news will come as a great shock to many. While there are still questions that remain unanswered regarding the circumstances of his death, our understanding at this stage is that Owain passed suddenly, naturally, and peacefully. The reach of Owain's love, friendship, and generosity was vast. Outpouring of messages we have received over the past few days has been deeply moving and a testament to the impact he had on so many lives. Owain was fortunate enough to have more than one family. Alongside his biological one, he built an extraordinary family-like bonds with many of his closest friends, colleagues, and loved ones. I'm incredibly proud that while he was my brother, he was also a brother to so many others. And of course, the 44 actor starred in Twin Peaks: The Return as Agent Wilson for 3 episodes. He also has credits in Disney's Alice Through the Looking Glass and A Serial Killer's Guide to Life. A Welsh actor was also a stage actor working at the Royal National Theatre, London's West End, and other productions around the world. Welsh National Theatre paid tribute to the actor on Monday. We're deeply saddened to hear of the death of Owen Rhys-Davies at the age of 44. The theatre said in a statement on social media. So
apparently not related to John Rhys-Davies, though.
Okay.
Both are Welsh. They don't actually have a family relationship.
Understood. I'm just curious, that's all. Rest in peace, way too young. I'm sorry he passed. That's a picture of him from Twin Peaks, which I'm sure we'll get to him at some point during the rewatch again. So, yeah.
Not too distant future. Yes, exactly.
Look at that. So, rest in peace. It's sad. I feel bad. All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Let's get into it.
This is the toy segment.
I'm not even reading this whole article. I have bullets. I think you're familiar with this case, so am I. So we're going to talk about it, but I'll read you briefly the bullet points for those of you not in the know.
And again, all the articles are listed in the description, so you can check them out.
You can check it out. Yeah. This is under a dispute over a prized Star Wars Lego collection has led to a YouTube crusade. Let me go ahead and see if I can get my summary up here. Yes, this is from the Salt Lake City Tribune, and a California YouTuber, Benjamin Paul Snyder, known as Reckless Ben, was charged in Utah after a campaign connected to a dispute over a valuable missing Star Wars Lego collection. The controversy began when an elderly collector's Star Wars Lego collection, reported worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, disappeared after being consigned for sale. Snyder became involved and publicly investigated the case. He publicly investigated the case through videos. Snyder accused people associated with the Lego resale chain Bricks and Minifigs of wrongdoings and launched a highly publicized online campaign, according to the police. Snyder's activities escalated beyond online reporting and included repeated visits and actions directed at a Utah resident connected to the dispute. Authorities said the conduct caused the resident to fear for his safety.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Prosecutors charged Snyder with several misdemeanors, including stalking, targeted residential picketing, disorderly conduct, criminal trespass. The alleged victim was identified as Joshua Johnson, who contacted police multiple times about what he described as escalating harassment. Snyder was arrested twice during the events in question, and videos of the encounter spread widely online, drawing significant public attention and debate. Snyder argues that he was exposing misconduct and pursuing a legitimate investigation into the missing collection, while police maintain that the issue is not his reporting. Not on his reporting, but on the alleged harassment and targeting of individuals. The case highlights the tension between online investigative content creation, public accountability campaigns, and laws designed to protect people from harassment and stalking. Well, that's just part of it. This is the crux of the article. But let's get into the nitty gritty. This was a gentleman whose father was ill, medical bills. They decided they were going to sell his prized mint, I believe, right? Unopened Star Wars Lego collection that he had started collecting in the early 1990s. He was actually going to give it to his grandchildren at some point, but this collection, of course, is worth a lot of money. Some speculated up to $200,000 or less, but I don't know. So unfortunately, his father, elderly father, got hit with a lot of medical bills, bad health, so they're trying to pay for it. So he said, let's go to Bricks and Minifigs, which apparently is a chain of stores that resell old Legos and also sell new Lego sets, correct? And or you could buy pieces or whatever. And I had no idea this chain existed until tonight, and apparently there's some in my area, so maybe I should keep an eye out more. But
just caveat emptor,
Yeah.
Let the buyer beware.
Let the buyer beware. Well, here's what happened. So They contacted a outfit out in, I believe, Washington, right? Was it Salem, Washington, or a similar sounding town to that, I think? And they said, the proprietor said of this one establishment said, we can do it a consignment where we'll sell the items for you. We get like I guess a seller's fee, right? And you get the rest of the money. So they'll sell it for him. And apparently they have been writing the family checks off of sets they've sold at this set. But then apparently the owners of this particular place got into a lot of debt, and then the people that own the franchise, I guess it's like you own a McDonald's restaurant, that's the one you own, but then like it's owned by the bigger company. Well, the bigger company came in and basically kicked them out, changed the locks, and just said, no, you don't own this anymore. I guess because they had gotten so heavily in debt. And of course, that's a whole nother level of contention where they said that they were kind of kicked out of their own business. Yep. Even though it's part of a franchise, because I believe that the chain got owned by new owners out in Utah. Is that right? The whole franchise. And so the trouble is that now the people that were waiting for these consignment checks coming from sale products, they're wanting to know where the rest of the stuff is coming from, and they said, well, we don't do consignment in this company, and apparently it wasn't supposed to be done in the old system either, which may or may not be true. I don't know. And they're asking for the sets back, and I don't know if the sets have gone vanishing because the new owners said that the old couple sold it, that owned the business. The old people owners said they did not, if I'm not mistaken, in this case. Yep. I think they found some sets worth at $10,000. They would have sent them back, and the owners refused because they're trying to go after, because it's like, we have a lot of money in these sets, so they either have to send them all the sets back that they know haven't been sold, or they have to give them the cash equivalent, right?
Right.
And the trouble is, it's new owners that probably feel they aren't bound by the old rules, or maybe the new owners are saying that the old couple sold the sets and didn't give the money over, which the old people who own the store said they did not. And then throughout all of this, a YouTuber gets involved. Okay, so.
Yep. Well, and it, from people doing, from the point of view of someone doing nefarious things, somebody exposing them is the enemy. Now, the average normal person would say, no, this is good. You shine light and watch the bugs scatter. And you need to turn on the lights so you can see what needs to be fixed.
So Reckless Ben is the YouTuber's name, and yep. It's a big disaster because he was going around, he was wanting to collect the money, and he's sort of trying to publicly shame them into doing the right thing. I think that's what I was seeing. Yeah.
And most people look at that and say, hero.
Now, he is known as Reckless Ben because he performs stunts and pranks. I don't know if they're malicious style pranks, though. I didn't get that impression from what I saw of his channel. My impression here is the only one he's being malicious against is the people doing bad things. Good. Or himself when he's doing some stunts. Well, so I don't think he... I was trying to say, are you one of these library prankers? Because you lose my sympathy. But he did other things, though. Like I said, you shouldn't have said this word. He was calling it a Mormon mafia. Out there in Utah, because apparently this company is in good with the cops, but I still wouldn't have used that word. If you could try it out in Utah, you're going to be in trouble with that jury by saying that.
Well, but the best defense is the truth, right? And okay, fine. You don't like you object to the term Mormon mafia. Well, you're Mormons. You are conspiring against law-abiding people. Mormon mafia, Your Honor. I've heard my buddy, who's an attorney, do this kind of thing all the time. I object. He said something to. He was cross-examining someone in a traffic case. He goes, "So, let me get this straight. You were out joyriding. I object. I object to the term joyriding." Judge looks over at my buddy and he goes, were you driving? Yes. Were you going anywhere in particular? No. Why were you driving around? Just having fun. Joyriding, Your Honor. I mean, what do you call it?
It's basically, I was having fun, yes, but anyway. I would have never made an agreement like that. I would have sold the collection through multiple locations, maybe an auction,
Yeah,
maybe like an auction house.
This is what I was saying. You got to be very careful in a situation like this. You need something in writing. You need receipts. You need documentation that shows, the serial numbers or whatever. These serial numbers are mine. If they end up in somebody else's hands and I haven't gotten money for it, and you don't have proof that that money was given to me, then you've stolen it from me.
I'm trying to figure out though, because there's a plausibility that perhaps the last couple did sell the stuff and not report their sales to the old man because they were heavily in debt. I'm not saying that's what happened though. I'm just saying
and it is a
that's
question that
theory.
absolutely deserves to be brought up, and I think that the person who has a consignment coming to them, has the money from a consignment coming to them, has the right to raise that question. And the police are obliged to investigate it.
Well, the police in this case, it seemed like they're siding with the big corporation.
Exactly. Gee,
Well,
I wonder why it seems that way.
every law office has to do a certain amount of pro bono cases per year. He can inquire at different law firms. Would you be willing to take my case pro bono?
Well, and see, therein lies the other problem. The business is basically saying to him, look, we have no responsibility to you. If you don't like that, take us to court. And he absolutely can't afford to do that, because the whole reason he's selling this valuable collection is to raise money for his father's care.
Could the current owners, the ones who got stuck in place of the old couple, been the ones who've seen, wow, this Cloud City set is worth $100,000. Let's sell it on the black market. We'll just pretend it wasn't here. And we
You
store.
can't find out unless
Yes.
unless somebody is willing to investigate. And who's the only one investigating? This damn YouTuber.
And of course, now they're after him. It should be interesting if a trial takes place, because then that should be some interesting YouTubing. But yeah, I don't know, man. This is a disaster. Like I said, I'm kind of I don't want to say I'm a newbie to the Lego hobby, but I had retired from it when I was 12, I think, and then I started trying to getting a little back into it last year, but I realized I don't have the patience I had as a 12-year-old for Lego. It's building those sets.
I get you.
But I have a
this
cup
comes
I'm
down
gonna
to these kinds of things. Powerful people want to sweep things like this under the rug, and it was always the job of the free press, and now independent press going and saying, look, we're shining light on this so the public can see what's going on, and if that shames you into doing what's right, so much the better.
Troy, though, even with a signed agreement, can go down simply what happened here. Old owner made agreement, the owner can change. That's fine, but they still have this guy's property, so they have to
Everybody
get him the property
touching this
back.
has a responsibility that they are trying to cover up, is what I'm saying.
And
It's
breach of
all a big
contract.
cover up. And I have no idea who this YouTuber is. Never heard about him before now, but I'll defend him because he's trying to bring awareness to a bad situation. We need more people like that. And it's very clear that the establishment is trying to silence people like that.
Are there
Well, the
unique...
store is guilty of breach of contract.
Yeah, on multiple levels.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the franchise owner, but the franchisor and the franchisee both have responsibilities here.
Are there unique serial numbers on Lego boxes? I know that they're unique
On
numbers.
these collectible ones, yes.
I know they're unique numbers inside the box when you register them, because I've done that with my Lego sets, the few I have. But I almost wish someone who might have bought one of these sets that wasn't supposed to have bought it, and the person didn't get the money back, could come forward and just let everybody know if that's what happened.
Hey, yeah, you were looking for this. I bought it. That money should have gone to the person. Why didn't it?
You could have bought it off eBay, though, and how are you going to know who you bought it from on eBay? I guess if you bought it from this city on eBay, check your receipts, because apparently there was a Cloud City Lego set that's very rare,
Yeah.
in this collection that would have gone for a lot of money. And I don't know if and like I said, I feel bad for the son and his dad. They got medical bills. Keep in mind, you can get ridiculous medical bills even if you have insurance. I mean, this is
Yeah.
just it's
And here's and you said this is a chain, right? The
Yeah.
chain now looks really bad.
Oh, they do.
Even if they did end their relationship with the franchise owner here, doesn't matter. Everybody's looking at them now saying, I don't want to do business with you if that's the way people like you. Heck, now you're just covering up and taking no responsibility. So why should I give you my money ever?
So they say they were Comic-Con exclusive and they're Crossover VR codes. Okay, yeah. I'm just wondering if these sets are floating out there, if they've been sold and somebody never got the money. But of course, and this is a follow-up article. Bricks and Minifigures sues Reckless Ben as viral leg controversy. Goes, okay, so they're doubling down on what they're going to do.
Good.
So this is
Because that means disclosure. And he's going to get great content out of this. And it's just going to make them look worse. So good, bring it on.
Yeah, but Bricks and Minifigures, a Lego resale chain, has filed a lawsuit against YouTube Reckless Ben. What began as a dispute over a collection of Star Wars Lego sets has escalated into one of the strangest internet controversies of the year. Official and unofficial investigations, leaked communications, and police encounters have generated
I
millions
still
of
argue
views.
this isn't that strange. If you take the Lego out of it, it could be any commodity.
Like a classic
It could be-
car or something.
It could be a classic car. It could be stocks. It could be anything.
Stamps.
Yeah, it could be literally anything.
Here's my question: how did the YouTuber find out about it?
The
Don't know.
family probably went public about their dealings with it, and then the Lego community probably found out about it because there are a lot of Lego community sites out there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
big.
yeah.
It's like any other geek space. There's a lot of Lego sites, and they probably started talking about it on their channel about this poor son. And,
What do you think
Yeah.
that the Better Business Bureau does, Jesse? The Better Business Bureau doesn't do anything anymore. They are just a reporting site where you can. They're no different from Yelp these days.
Huh.
You
Well,
you
here's-
can go and look up what kind of reports different companies have had through the Better Business Bureau and decide whether or not you want to do business with them. That's it. They don't actually do anything.
What if this missing 200,000 Lego collection is in Sam Walton's basement? I'm just wondering. I'm kidding. I'm just. I'm gonna set him on fire one day just for fun. Okay. Anyway, what was I gonna think
God.
though? I'm trying to think though. Lego itself is not necessarily affiliated with this chain. It's like Nintendo
No.
or PlayStation being affiliated with GameStop. They're allowed to sell Lego sets there, obviously.
Right.
But Lego doesn't own this chain.
All they are, as far as Lego cares, is they're a retail outlet.
Could
That
Lego
is-
get angry at this chain over this bad press? That's another thing I'm wondering.
Absolutely could. I mean, they don't have any legal responsibility here, but they do have to protect their brand,
Yeah.
and
Because
yeah.
people could start yelling at Lego and think about it. I don't think Lego has anything to do with this. They're
Right.
so maybe they'll be like, you got to, is the word minifig registered? So you could take that off your sign. I don't know. It's
Jesse, Trump is not focused on the Better Business Bureau. He's too busy getting us involved in wars we have no business being in, and then lying about campaigning on us not getting into any new wars.
anyway.
He's got bigger things to.
I don't know if anyone in government is focused on this stuff. That's the thing. They probably should be. That's what we pay for, right?
It is a tiny element of a much bigger sense of corruption of law enforcement siding with the rich guys. There is absolutely a two-tiered, it's even more than two-tiered legal system. If you're rich, if you contribute money to people's campaigns, if you buy tickets to the policeman's ball, you're going to be treated very differently than somebody who's trying to do some actual honest journalism.
Some punk kid.
Yeah, troublemaker trying to expose the truth.
Jesse Grotto says, fair enough. To see what you're just saying. Latest from the Legal Mindset, Bricks and Minifigures is making a deal, not $200,000. That was the absolute highest possible value. Interesting.
I did. I don't know if that's the one that I referenced, but Legal Mindset has been kind of shepherding this, at least one of his videos is linked below, so you can check that out.
Well, even if they settle with the family, that still doesn't stop them going after this guy, Reckless Ben. So,
which is absolutely unfair because who was it? Lego, or is it Bricks and Minifigs? Okay, it doesn't matter because the only reason Bricks and Minifigs is doing this is because he made people aware of it. If this was not, being broadcast on YouTube, they would not be doing this.
They should have done that to begin with, and the whole mess could have been avoided, because that way the family gets what they need. They get
now. To be fair to Bricks and Minifigs corporate, I can totally see a reasonable defense of them saying they weren't aware of it to have taken any action before a certain point. Right?
They were too busy trying to cover up, though. That was the problem. They were, and plus there's some shady stuff on the police cams. At least
absolutely. Like that's the other thing too. You can say what you want, but the proof. What is it? The truth is the best defense, and what you can prove is the truth.
What's funny, this reminded me of these old westerns where you have like the oil baron or the cattle baron, and like the local sheriff is in his pocket and he's got a gunslinger working for him that'll shoot the guy who doesn't sell the property over to him for the oil, with the local farmer. And it's just,
what? Nate has a great. I don't see how the police can say this is a civil matter. Why? When if I steal a bag of chips from a store, that's still this company just stole. Yeah, it's theft. That is a crime. That's exactly right. That's what I would say to the police. So what do you consider a crime? Isn't all crime in some way a civil matter?
Yeah.
But theft is theft. It's still a crime. Yes, we will fight it out in court, but I still want to prosecute for the crime, because that will come up then in the civil case.
Anyway, I'm sure we'll be following up on this in the future, because this is an interesting case.
It's interesting because I really feel like the reason emotions get high on stuff like this is because I think there's an innate sense of justice. We want to see what's right done right,
I wonder if Michael or Tony have any thoughts on this. I'm kind of curious.
Interesting. Yeah.
All right, moving right along and feeling fancy-free. Okay. God of War Laffy was announced this week. Do you know what the God of War series is, or do I have to explain that?
Yeah, I know the basic premise. I don't know this.
I had the older God of War games before they started doing the whole Norse mythology thing. Back when they were more like action titles before they became walking sims. I mean, cinematic adventures.
Yeah.
I'm not keen on the direction they took the series, and not that I was a huge fan of the
I did want to address this one last point about the last one. Troy, at this point, I'm pretty sure the police don't want to do their over a toy collection. Don't care. Like I said, theft is theft. I don't care if it's $200,000 worth of toys or $200,000 worth of banknotes. It is still a $200,000 crime. Do your damn job or get out of the business, police.
This was my joke at the beginning with the judge, remember?
Yeah, exactly.
You're wasting over Tinker Toys, because people don't realize. I mean, heck, a few weeks ago, I didn't even realize how valuable Pokemon cards that there's like organized, like something out of a Italian crime movie of the 70s, like they're shooting people over them. Okay, so this is the latest God of War game, God of War Laffy. It's funny. I don't know if you know the YouTuber Real Life Fake Wizard.
Yes, I do very well. He's a regular contributor on WDW Pro's channel.
he did a great he did a great live react to this with his co-host, and it was just funny because they were making a joke. What are we going to see here? And and we think it's going to say the hero's journey, and then the letters are going to fade. And it's going to say her journey.
Yeah.
Because they're expecting every Sony franchise has replaced their
this
top
point,
male
yeah.
lead with a woman. So
Right.
yesterday during the first of many showcases of the summer, PlayStation revealed the heavily rumored God of War title based on Kratos' wife Faye, titled God of War La Faye. The game ties into the events of the 2018 reboot as players enter the afterlife with Faye and a cube. I'm not joking. There's a talking cube.
God.
Whatever you want to say about the God of War games, their main theme is we're focused on mythology. They started with Greek mythology, then they followed up with Norse mythology. But they're trying to be set, in ancient Greece or Norway and places like that. They're not. It's not like a D&D style world, all right. And anyway, new God of War games is met with excitement. However, there is one person who wasn't impressed with the reveal of the all-time series greater, David Jaffe, who said the game looks like shit, basically. Jaffe live streamed his reactions to yesterday's State of Play, casting judgment on everything revealed on PlayStation, and he was generally positive about the event. There were two games in it, particular that he didn't seem to like, though: Marvel's Wolverine and God of War Lao Fei. You know what? The fact that I have to figure out how to pronounce it is a humiliation ritual. Anyway, the developer turned YouTuber felt that Wolverine was very generic looking from a gameplay standpoint, but he surprisingly had more scathing things to say about La Fei. Looks like shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. Remarks after the showcase ends. Keep in mind too that David Jaffe is on the woke side of the left thing. Okay, he's not right wing at all, and even he doesn't like this, which I thought was interesting. Here's the first thing I'm thinking of when I watch the trailer. It feels more like it has become a producer studio. Corey is staggeringly talented. He's much better writing than I ever was. He's a smart guy. Well, we learn later on that it was Alana Pierce that wrote this game, though. It feels very much like he got forced into a situation where it's like, we can't give you money to make a brand new thing, so you try to make what you want, do in the context of God of War. Yeah, because it doesn't seem like a God of War game. I'm just going to tell you, this game features a talking cube. Yeah. There is a sword in the talking cube. Both the sword and the cube are apparently talking to our lead character, except then the sword says, it's not me, it's the ribbons, okay? Do you understand? Yeah. And the ribbons are talking to her. And one of those two characters has they, them pronouns. I hope it's the ribbons, as at least it's a plural. And the fact that I'm trying to figure this out is another humiliation ritual. The whole game, in my opinion, looked very Wizards of the Coast. How can I put this? It looked very Wizards of the Coast inspired, modern Wizards of the Coast inspired. I guess there's some Chinese gods in there and Egyptian gods, which doesn't make any sense to me. But the actress playing the lead, though, she was on True Blood. Do you remember her, the redhead?
Yes, absolutely, I do.
And she was also on Daredevil.
Yes.
And as with most Sony games, they have to make her look worse in the game than she does in real life. Even though you're using an actual pretty actress, you have to make her look worse in the game because you can't have good-looking characters.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's just more to expect. And, of course, Jean Grey, he had complained about Jean Grey in the Wolverine game, saying that, because of course, again, he's a self-confessed woke guy, but he was saying, she's a superhero character from Marvel. She's supposed to be beautiful. You gotta he doesn't understand this. Anyway, I thought I'd bring it up. You can't get this game on PC, but you can get the other God of War games if you're so inclined. Probably not. Anyway, let's move on. Okay. Xbox, you like that picture?
Yeah, that's how I would feel about my Xbox. Sure.
You can actually use Xbox controllers on a PC. They actually really are nice controllers. It's not the hardware I have a problem with. Xbox acknowledges exclusives are needed to build a platform. Xbox CEO Asha Sharma has publicly addressed the ongoing decision-making regarding exclusives. Speaking with Bloomberg, Sharma stated that Xbox is trying to balance being a successful video game publisher while also building its own platform, two business models that could be at odds with each other. Look, we're the number two publisher in the world. That's because you bought up all the publishers. And in order to be a great publisher, you must have your games reach a large audiences to play, said Sharma. At the same time, we're increasingly becoming a platform. In order to become a platform, you must have exclusive content and services. So we're looking at that very closely. I think that we have to be very thoughtful about each title and how to think about it and learn from some similar cases in the industry, and that's what we're doing. Okay, I'm going to explain to you what the old way of thinking was, okay, in video game industries. Okay, so you have consoles, right? Think of these like a theater chain, right? And like you get to have your console exclusive, so a certain movie will only play at this theater chain, okay, if I'm explaining it correctly, all right? And the thing is, Xbox bought up all this exclusivity. They bought up Activision Blizzard. They bought up id, the people that make the Fallout games. They bought that. They could have all those games as exclusive on the Xbox, and you would think that having those exclusive games might get people to go out and buy the Xbox, because you can't get those games anywhere else. But that's not what they decided to do, because nobody was buying the Xbox. Just lower the price of the console. However, this was before Asha Sharma took over as head of Xbox. Since then, she has indicated that Xbox will be making big changes to try and get the company back on track. So, although many things being shown at Xbox upcoming Xbox showcase have probably been in the works before Sharma was even in consideration for the job, it'll be the first moment to properly outline the vision for the company's future, and they likely include defining some new exclusive titles. So basically what this article is saying, the person in charge of Xbox has realized you need console-exclusive games to sell your console. Otherwise, why am I buying the games on that console when I can buy them on the competition?
Right.
Exciting stuff, huh? You going out and buy an Xbox? Maybe?
No.
For like
absolutely not.
$1,000? Lower the price of the console, Xbox. That's your big problem now. If you're doing poorly, if you're way behind Sony, this is where you become a bargain console. Slash the price in half, at least. I mean, I don't understand what's going on here. When the Nintendo GameCube was losing badly to the PlayStation 2, they slashed the price. It was a $99.99 console. That's what they did. This should interest you. It's Sherlock.
Yeah. It interests me. Not happy about it, but it interests me.
Okay, I'm going to give a little bit of background, but this article talks about it too. There are a lot of Sherlock Holmes shows and adjacent Sherlock Holmes shows on television right now. I've watched some of them. I don't know if Troy would like them because you're kind of a purist, I know.
I kind of am, yes.
I'm looser. I just want a good show, but because I actually liked Elementary. I know you didn't care for that show.
I didn't.
It got funny. I liked the lead actor on it. He was funny. Okay, so in 1893, in the Adventure of the Greek Interpreter, Arthur Conan Doyle introduced Sherlock Holmes' older brother Mycroft. Meeting Dr. Watson for the first time, Mycroft shakes his hand and sighs, "I hear of Sherlock everywhere since you became his chronicler. Spare a thought for the rest of us, Mycroft. More than a century later, Sherlock Holmes has achieved a level of near ubiquity that would alarm even the great detective himself, spawning ever more elaborate spin-offs that stretch his life backwards, forwards, and sideways." Basically, yes. This year's already given us Prime Video's Young Sherlock. Okay, do you know what Young Sherlock is?
Yes.
I believe what it is this was going to be the HBO Sherlock show that was going to have Robert Downey Jr. attached as a producer. I thought it was going to be related to those Sherlock Holmes movies that Downey was in, but it's really its own animal. Maybe it's trying to keep some of that style. But that went to Amazon because HBO has no money to fund shows. So then I think it got passed along to Amazon. I've watched I have one episode left on that. It's not bad. It's kind of basically like a spy series, though, with him and a young Moriarty trying to solve something, okay?
Yeah.
You're not going to... Okay, never mind. You're not going to watch it. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so we have Enola Holmes, threequel, which is that Netflix movie series with the actress from Stranger Things on it, okay? We're getting a second series of Sherlock and Daughter, starring David Thewlis. You know Sherlock and Daughter?
No.
That's where a young American woman goes to England to find her long-lost father, Sherlock Holmes, who may or may not be her actual father. It was a CW
I can guarantee you he's not, but whatever.
Okay, well, that was a CW series. Okay. All
Of
right.
course it was.
Okay.
That explains it.
Anyway, that was on. That was on. That had a few episodes. Earlier this month, Sky also announced the death of Sherlock Holmes, a 6-part series starring Rafe Spall as an amnesiac Holmes forced to deduce his own identity in the Swiss Alps. It fills one of the detective's last remaining narrative blind spots and raises the inevitable question: have we finally reached Sherlock's saturation point? I say never. What do you think? The death of Sherlock Holmes. That might be interesting, huh? I'm hearing crickets, man. Netter, you got any thoughts? Huh? Okay, think about it.
Not really.
Yeah.
All right, the
No,
evidence.
This is what it comes down to is I'm getting sick of the remakes, getting sick of the reboots. With Sherlock Holmes, we actually have a definitive adaptation in the Granada series, which we're watching every Tuesday night at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on my channel. So feel free to join us and see what Sherlock Holmes is really supposed to be like. Once you've seen that series, you don't need any of these other deconstructions, reconstructions, reboots, gender swaps, race swaps. We don't need any of this crap anymore. Modern day version.
Well, yeah, they do that a lot. I'm not
No
finished
kidding,
with this
they do
article.
that a lot.
Not finished with this because there's more coming. Get this. The evidence says yes, and it's been piling up for more than a decade. Ever since Guy Ritchie made his Sherlock Holmes film and Mark Gatiss as the Imovit enlisted Benedict Cumberbatch. What was Bach?
Cumberbund.
To bring the detective.
Cabbage Patch.
Okay, into the modern day. Since then, we have Ian McKellen's Mr. Holmes. I think you would find Mr. Holmes inoffensive if you watched
Probably.
it. Mr. Holmes is about an elderly Sherlock Holmes who may be going through some early onset
Issues, yes.
whatever you call that, the dementia, but he's trying to piece together like one last case he worked on when he was younger. Netflix is The Irregulars. Even the The Irregulars looked silly because I think it involves supernatural stuff, which I'm not doing that. Don't involve supernatural stuff with Holmes. Even the animated oddity Sherlock Gnomes. Add this latest influx to the pile, and we're sure at critical mass, aren't we? Oh, I don't know, says Moffat. There's always been adaptation of Sherlock Holmes now for over 100 years, and there doesn't seem to be any stopping or loss of appetite. When his BBC Sherlock arrived in 2010, it did so between Ritchie's period blockbuster versions. Very different takes. Both recognize the Sherlock, the writer added. I expected to feel jealous or competitive about those movies, but I just ended up loving them. Okay, well, there you go. Moffat recently worked with Holmes incumbent Rafe Spall on the political drama Number 10, which will air on Series Channel 4. What does that have to do with anything? Let's move on.
Don't know.
Okay. Are there more Holmes shows? Holmes and Watson are strong drawn characters, says Markham, but so are some of the lesser characters. Irene Adler, Professor Moriarty, Mycroft Holmes. They provided a rich scene for dramatic exploitation, and I guess in Hollywood terms, Holmes and Watson are bankable names. You know, there was an anime series made called Moriarty the Patriot.
Okay.
Which I'm curious, is that from Moriarty's point of view that he's really the hero of the story? I don't know. I've not seen it anyway, but Sherlock Holmes brand sells. So you're the one that sent this story to me. So did you have a comment on it, or did you already say your point?
I already made my point. There's not much. It's no deeper than that. I have no interest in a modern day retelling through the lens of a modern audience.
So here's why I sometimes get to be watching these series. I have a member of my household, and while she does love that Granada series, in fact, she might even say that is the best. She's always hungry for anything with Sherlock Holmes, and since she's my elderly mother, I will sometimes watch these with her, for good or ill.
Yeah.
So I'm actually more of an expert on these shows than you are, even though, are there any that are great? I don't know. Young Sherlock ain't bad, but you're probably not going to like it because I know you're a purist. But it's interesting how they're handling Moriarty on the show. They actually made him Irish, which I thought was interesting, because even though I don't think he's necessarily Irish in the books, that's an Irish-sounding name. So it makes sense. But I always find Boomer's pronunciation of Annie Mae funny. It's because I'm from the 90s when all these words were new to us. That's why. I was watching this stuff back in the day. I watched Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd Century Animated Series, and it's pretty good. There you go. It's an old cartoon.
But for all this talk about remakes, reboots, rehashes, and so forth, if you have a franchise that it's an original franchise and it's continuing, and the fans want it to continue, why don't you freaking continue it? That's your segue, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Stargate TV series from Martin Gero not moving forward to Amazon. The new Stargate TV series has been axed at Amazon. Variety has learned exclusively. This show was first announced with a series order in November 2025. We talked about it.
Yep.
It hailed from writer, exec producer, showrunner Martin Gero, who was a writer on Stargate SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis earlier in his career. According to an individual with knowledge of the situation, Amazon execs were concerned that Gero's take on the series would not have broad appeal beyond the franchise's already dedicated fan base. So he was going to make a show that would appeal to the fans that already exist. So he's basically going to do just a straight-up follow-up sequel. That's what he was going to do.
Right.
It was first reported, so it was probably going to be good. That's why they nixed it. Okay.
My take on it was, this is something the fans actually want, so you got to destroy it.
He was first reported in 2022 that Amazon was looking to develop new projects in Stargate Universe following the company's acquisition of Stargate producer MGM Studios. Although Gero's series will not proceed, Amazon is still exploring new ways to further the franchise. Well, that means they're going to do their own take on it, which means a reboot that everyone's going to hate. So, Gero remains under an overall deal, and Amazon MGM Studios will continue to develop projects going forward. So he has to work on other stuff there. Okay, fun for him. No plot details were released for Gero's take on the show. Along with Gero, executive producers also included Joby Harold and Tony Tunnell from Safe House Pictures, as well as Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich, who co-wrote the original film, which Emmerich directed. Brad Wright and Joe Mazzello, longtime creative leaders within the Stargate universe, served as consulting producers. So it sounded like this was actually going to be a proper follow-up, maybe, but I guess not anymore. Stargate originally launched in 1984 as a movie. Yes, I know, the James Spader, Kurt Russell movie, and then it became a TV series, which I never watched, if I'm being honest with the audience.
You never saw the movie?
I saw the movie. I didn't watch the series.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah.
The series originally started out as a Showtime cable exclusive, I believe, right?
Oh.
Before it moved into syndication.
Yeah.
There was actually some nudity and cussing in the original season, which they probably aged out. Again, they canceled Stargate series. Well, this is another thing. It could. You have a point, Jesse. This could be a money problem. You think they're running out of money for these streaming series? Amazon has money, though, so I don't know. Right?
Well, I wonder if having money and losing money,
But they okayed a new season of Rings of Power.
Yeah, well, that one pushes the message. They're willing to lose money on something that pushes the message.
Yes. All right, moving on. This is our final article of the night. I thought we'd be. I thought we were going to run out of time. The Mandalorian and Grogu. As some people were calling it, the Mandarin and Gogurt, right, or other things.
They come up with something different every time.
The news just keeps getting worse for the Mandalorian and Grogu, the Walt Disney Company, Lucasfilm, and by extension, the future of the Star Wars franchise. It was just over a decade that The Force Awakens became the highest-grossing movie not adjusted for inflation in the history of domestic U.S. box office. While deeply flawed and derivative, it at least attempted to set up a cohesive storyline for a new generation of Star Wars trilogy. It's been downhill ever since. As soon as The Last Jedi hit theaters several years later, it became clear that Lucasfilm, then headed by Kathleen Kennedy, had no coherent plan for the series. The Last Jedi undid much of The Force Awakens, had little explanation for plot setups in the first film, and treated the legendary hero of the Star Wars universe with disdain. In short, a microcosm of the problems with modern filmmaking. This is Fox News, by the way, that's putting this article out. Not bad. One of the best reviews I ever saw for Last Jedi, by the way, if you look for it, it's an Entertainment Tonight from Canada. The guy skewers it, and skewers it basically by saying they didn't follow up anything they set up in The Force Awakens.
Right.
All right, so let's see. The studio scrambled back to J.J. Abrams to fix things with The Rise of Skywalker, which was widely panned for its unrealistic plot, laughable dialogue, and inexplicable plotting. Fast forward 7 years, and the Mandalorian and Grogu hit theaters as the first Star Wars film of the 2020s. Opening weekend ticket sales were disappointing, coming in the low end of estimates of around 81 million, and the long Memorial Day weekend gross winding up far short of Solo. That's a good weekend to release a movie. I don't even think it had any competition, did it? Still, the film had positive word of mouth. A strong week could have put the Mandalorian and Grogu back on track financially. With this past weekend's box office results now, it unfortunately for Disney was the exact opposite. According to Box Office Mojo, not only did the Mandalorian and Grogu drop out of the top spot in theaters, it fell all the way to third thanks to a whopping 70% collapse in revenues. Its opening weekend was a disappointing 81.7 million, and it fell all the way to just 25 million from Friday to Sunday. That's not unprecedented, but sure is disastrous. Even more incredible, two movies that beat out The Mandalorian were low-budget films from essentially first-time directors. Backrooms is a $10 million horror movie from 20-year-old YouTuber Kane Parsons. It made $81.4 million his first weekend, just slightly less than $175 million Star Wars movie, despite not hitting theaters on a holiday weekend. You know what's ironic about this? What was the original Star Wars? It was a $10 million sci-fi movie, probably from a young director. And it beat out. So it's just where we are. Okay. Obsession also beat out The Mandalorian, grossing an estimated $26.4 million over the weekend. That movie was directed by Curry Barker, a 26-year-old who found fame from YouTube and TikTok. Production budget on Obsession was around $750,000. Was likely lower than what The Mandalorian spent on office supplies. It outgrossed this past weekend anyway. These results also cement that Disney will likely lose a substantial amount of money on The Mandalorian. Reports have suggested that production and marketing costs ran around $300 million. Even if tax credits brought that down, a reasonable break-even point will be around $500 million worldwide. At $137 million domestically and a 70% drop, it's not going to come close. Where are we with Star Wars right now? Is this a rebuke of just The Mandalorian, or is this the whole franchise?
I'm sure this is a rebuke of the... Well, I would argue it's a rebuke of the entire franchise under Disney, but it's also a rebuke of the failed streaming model. Because the only people interested in this are people that watch this show on their streaming service. Most audiences have not seen The Mandalorian, so they're not going to go rushing out to see this. And those that did watch this on Disney Plus are just going to wait for it to come out on Disney Plus. They're already paying for it. Why pay extra for it?
So they're just going to wait for it to come to Disney Plus.
Right.
Yeah, this is not good. I'm really wondering how Supergirl's going to do after this.
I hope that Mandalorian and Grogu, as bad as it's doing, still does better than Supergirl. I hope Supergirl literally crashes and burns. I will never see anything that this Alcott girl is in ever again.
Yes, she needs to keep her mouth shut.
She apparently excelled at the school of Brie Larson and what's her name that played Snow Off White. I've even forgotten her name.
Rachel Zegler.
Yeah. That was you learned the wrong lesson there, girl.
I think they're out of touch. I think they live in a bubble. That's what happens here. But Disney Star Wars is dead, stick a fork, and it's done. Well, we still got Star Wars Fighter coming out. Starfighter.
Yeah. That might actually do slightly better than this. I don't know.
Has Ryan Gosling in it. I mean, maybe.
So there's that. And, again, it's not tied directly to something from the streaming service. It is actually standalone, so, you know.
There's another problem, too. We don't really know who's currently running Lucasfilm. I guess it's Filoni and this other lady, which has she even done anything public yet? Has he spoken publicly?
Isn't she just the money person?
I guess, but you'd figure she would have gone to the press at some point. I don't know who's running Lucasfilm right now.
I don't think Lucasfilm knows.
Okay. And we do have something from our Nate Knows, our man in the field.
There we go.
All right, so he has some opining, which we're going to get into. The Mouse Has No Clothes, The Fall of the Mighty Disney. There was a time when the word Disney stood for an unbreakable, multi-billion-dollar cultural monopoly. If they stamped a silver castle or a glowing Lucasfilm logo onto a piece of celluloid, humanity lined up, wallets open. But look closely at the Magic Kingdom today, my fellow geezers, and you'll see the illusion is finally shattered. The tailors have been paid, the spin doctors are spinning, but the truth is glaringly obvious. The mouse has no clothes. The Mando meltdown, a galaxy far, far depleted. If you want to see the next exact moment the Empire cracked, look no further than the recent box office reports. For years, Disney treated Star Wars like an infinite cash printer. When the movie started sputtering, they retreated to streaming, banking everything on a shiny bounty hunter and a cute green toddler. On May 22nd, they finally tried to bring Disney Plus back to the big screen with The Mandalorian and Grogu. The result? Historical disaster. Not only did it debut with the lowest opening in Disney Star Wars history, but its second weekend saw a catastrophic free-falling 70% drop. The ultimate indignity, a $165 million Star Wars movie just got utterly humiliated, dropping to third place behind Backrooms and Obsession, two low-budget horror films made for a fraction of the cost. Audience rejected has evolved from online anger into something far worse for Disney's bottom line, indifference.
Yeah.
Here we go. The loss of leverage by the power of Grayskull. But the true measure of Disney's collapse isn't just the bad box office numbers, it's the sudden total loss of their industry's superpower, fear. At their peak, especially during the height of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Disney ran Hollywood like a cartel. Theater owners were subjected to ironclad, borderline abusive distribution methods. The local theater chain even hinted at cutting showtimes or moving an underperforming Disney movie to a premium screen early. Disney would ruthlessly threaten to withhold the next massive Marvel or Pixar blockbuster. Theater owners fell in line because crossing the mouse meant financial suicide. Well, the times have changed. Following Mando's second week collapse, IMAX and major theater chains just pulled off a move that would have been unthinkable 5 years ago. In the last-minute scramble, they are dumping The Mandalorian and Grogu from premium large-format screens to make room for Amazon, MGM, Sony's live-action Masters of the Universe. He-Man wasn't even on IMAX summer schedule a month ago, but theater owners look at the empty seats for Star Wars, looked at Disney's current week slate, and realized the Emperor has no leverage left. Disney can't threaten to go without the next big thing. Can't threaten to go without the next big thing anymore, because they don't have a guarantee of the next big thing. The fear is gone.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah.
I mean, they've had a lot of bombs this year. Tron Ares last year. If you listen to Disney's boardrooms and the recent earnings report, they'll tell you everything is grand. They'll point to streaming finally turning a profit milestone and a slight bump in total revenue. They'll boast about their billion-dollar stock buyout program. But look at how they're making money. It's not through creative triumph, it's through extraction. They are aggressively hiking prices on Disney Plus and Hulu to squeeze existing subscribers while content quality dips. Over at the theme parks, domestic attendance is visibly hitting a wall. Families are finally saying enough to the exorbitant cost of tickets, hotels, and lightning lanes just to stand in lines for rides based on franchises they've stopped caring about. Disney has transitioned from a company that creates magic to a legacy utility company that just mismanages it. The tragedy of modern Disney is a complete lack of creative courage. They bought the greatest sandboxes in the cinematic history with Lucasfilm and Marvel, built a wall around them, and milked them until the soil went dry. George Lucas himself lamented that Disney discarded his original treatment ideas after the 2012 sale, and the current cinematic landscape proves that Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy thought they knew better. They didn't. When a 20-year-old YouTube creator can launch a horror movie and outgrow Star Wars on a holiday weekend, the paradigm has shifted. Content creation has been democratized, and audiences are abandoning the factory line formula of Bob Iger's kingdom. Final thoughts for the geezers. The mighty Disney isn't going bankrupt tomorrow. Their corporate tentacles are too deep for a sudden collapse, but the reign of Disney as the undisputed dictator of pop culture is officially over. The illusion of their invincibility has been stripped away by creative exhaustion, corporate greed, and executive hubris. The parade is still marching down Main Street, but the crowd is walking away. The mouse is naked, and the theater owners are finally laughing out loud. Well, that's my 2 cents. This is Geek Flag with Nate Knows 1973 signing off. Back to you, geezers. I think he's absolutely right. I mean, what do they have left? I almost
spot on.
think Disney needs to go back to basics, and they mentioned the mouse has no clothes. How about a Mickey Mouse movie?
Oh yeah.
Just do that. Go back, find your roots, and just because I don't know what they're doing right now, and I think Avengers Doomsday is going to be the final nail. If that thing bombs, especially around Christmas time, they're in deep doo-doo. I think that's it.
Yep.
It's just, but I don't know. I mean, again, though, they're not going to die anytime soon. It'll be slow, right? Like you said, Rome didn't fall in a day, right?
But the cracks have absolutely started to show. It's going to deteriorate quickly from here.
Let's see. All Disney had to do was make Star Wars movies like Rogue One stories that took place between each film that didn't involve the main cast. Well, you know what was funny? What it was fascinating about The Last Jedi is that The Last Jedi takes place directly after Force Awakens, basically making it so nobody could make movies that take place between those movies.
Right.
Even though it was clear at the end of The Force Awakens that they were setting things up where Rey was going to train with Luke for a few years, Finn was going to be in a coma, waking up, and they would explain to him all that happened since he went to a coma, basically, when he was attacked by Kylo. You could tell that's what they were setting up. There was going to be a time gap, right?
Right.
And then Rian Johnson just threw that out and said, no, 5 hours later.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so bad. Anyway, no, we're not just saying that. You did a good job, Geek Flag. Thank you. And I think you're right. I think this was a detailed, concise opinion piece that it basically explains where things are. I mean, they're being beaten out by YouTubers, which is good.
Yeah.
These are the guys you basically said you can't have careers in making movies. So you know what they did? They went out and did it on their own.
Right.
Geek Flag gifted one last call, Troy Pacelli membership.
Wow.
Look at that.
Thank you so much, my friend. Let's see, who did that go to? That goes to Resolute Germ. Seen you around, hadn't been a while, but thank you so much. Geek Flag with Nate Knows. You are absolutely a wonderful supporter of the channel, and I super appreciate you.
And you know what? We're going to hang out for another 20 minutes. You know, screw that deleted scenes. You can hang out with us. It's not like he's having a good... Oh, wait, I'm on the show, aren't I?
Yeah, you'll still be hanging out with this guy.
All right, man. We should probably wrap up now. But any final thoughts, Netter? I don't know.
On the last subject? No, not really.
It's kind of sad, actually. I'm not actually cheering on in triumph over this. This is just sad. This is like, I wish they would just learn and just get better instead of it having to be this way. Because it's like you're disappointed at a child, basically. That's how I feel. It's you know,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
I disagree with you on that. I think it's more like, yes, I actually do take a little bit of schadenfreude seeing a company like this, a company that has literally done the exact opposite of what we've been telling it to do. You want our money, this is what you need to do. And they keep doing the opposite. So yes, I do take a certain amount of satisfaction in their demise. They're reaping what they've sown.
We told them what we wanted, and then they fired Gina Carano.
Exactly.
That's what happened. Because they were given one more shot, at least by a lot of fans, for Mandalorian, and then they blew it up. They had to blow that up too because they don't care. I think
it's as if they've gone out of their way to antagonize the exact audience that is now not showing up. So yes, when things happen the way that they're intended to, good. I'm glad they are reaping what they've sown.
Yes. All right, Drew. I think Disney needs a gunnery sergeant. Yeah, they need someone stern over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going over to Lucasfilm and knocking heads against the wall and saying you're fired if you don't get us out of this mess. But Geek Flag. You're welcome, Netter and Troy, for those chats. All right. All right, I got to wrap it up because I got to be on a stream in a couple minutes. All right, so
you're running late.
What?
Get to it. You're running late. Get to it.
I'm going to do it. End broadcast. No, I don't want to end broadcast. I want to do the
Closing credits.
Play the scene. So I go over to closing credits and.